Alright, what's up, everybody? We're back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one today. I'm going to be talking about the MVP race. We have about 25, 24-ish games left in the season, and the MVP race is going to come down to it. It's very close right now. I'm going to talk about all the candidates and what I think is going to happen for the rest of the season in terms of the MVP race here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really appreciate it a lot. Link to my Twitter in the description down below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right to it. So looking at the NBA MVP race right now, it's very interesting. Again, we have about 25-ish games left, and I don't really know who's going to take it. I feel like there's no overwhelming favorite right now because of Joel Embiid's injury. If Joel Embiid was healthy, he definitely would be the number one, no questions asked for me. But of course, now with the new rule, and with him, even if the rule wasn't in place, he only would be playing maybe like what? Joel's only played 34 games. So, yeah, and if he does come back, he'll probably be in like at the end of March. So he'll probably be like, what, 10 games? He'll play only like 40 something. Yeah, he still probably wouldn't win it. But, with the new rule officially, he's officially out. So now, who's going to be the MVP of the 2024 season? We have a lot of candidates, a lot of really good candidates. To be honest, right now, looking at Basketball Reference, the MVP tracker right now, Nikola Jokic has a 46% chance. He's the favorite right now. And to be honest, I can't really argue against it. I don't really have an argument against anybody, to be honest, but Nikola Jokic's argument. So it's very tough, especially when you look at his last few games. Like looking at his game log in the last couple, it's insane. He's had 3 games in a row with 20, 15, and 15. His last 3 games are ridiculous. He's averaging 27 points, 16 rebounds, 15 assists, and 2 steals on 68% shooting in his last 3 games, including a game against Washington where he had 21, 19, 15, and shot 10 for 10 from the field, by the way. Just ridiculous. On the entirety of the year, he's averaging 26, 12, and 9 with a steal, shooting 58% from the field, 35% from 3, 81% from the free throw line. He's top 5 in rebounds, 8 assists per game. He's in the top 15 in scoring. The Nuggets are still one of the top seeds in the West as well. They're still winning games. Right now, they're third in the West, with a chance maybe to be the first seed. And he is ridiculous. He's probably the best player in the world right now. You can't really argue against Jokic. You know what I mean? Like I can't really argue that why he's not the favorite. Especially when he's putting up games like this. I mean, 26, 12, and 9 as a center is insane on the great shooting. Getting his teammates involved. I mean, 3 straight games of 20, 15, and 15 is ridiculous. Especially when you have a triple-double, 100% shooting in like 20 minutes. Like, he just puts up ridiculous numbers. The Nuggets are a really good team, and I can't really fault people for having Jokic as the MVP favorite. And if he does win MVP, that'll be his 3rd MVP in 4 years, and that puts him in some conversations. If he wins 3 MVPs in 4 years. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, seeing some players that did that. LeBron was the most recent one to do something like that. LeBron won 4 MVPs in 5 years. Larry Bird won 3 straight MVPs. Magic won 3 MVPs in 4 years. Moses Malone won 3 MVPs in 5 years. Wilt won 3 in a row. Bill Russell won 3 in a row. Jordan won a couple in a row. Kareem won like that. Jokic gets put in that conversation if he wins an MVP 3rd time in 4 years, and it also depends on, of course, playoff success, stuff like that. But he already has a ring, and he's gonna be hot, go far again. So Jokic is going to have a really, really good case to win his 3rd MVP in 4 years. And then you have some other guys in there. Right now, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I feel like right now, Jokic and Shai are kind of battling for one for me right now. But SGA has an amazing case as well. He should be probably the 2nd highest. And according to Basketball Reference, he has a 20% chance. He's 2nd on the MVP tracker. But, I mean, Shai's having an amazing year as well, averaging 31, 5, and 6, 2 steals, almost a block, shooting 54% from the field, 39% from 3, 88% from the free throw line. The Thunder have been consistently one of the best teams in the NBA this year. Right now, they're tied for the number 1 seed. They've been 1, 2, or 3 basically for the entirety of the year. And Shai's been the best player on that team. He's one of the top leaders in scoring. I think he's number 2 in scoring right now? Yeah, number 2 in points per game right now at 31. He's been just on another level too, and not just offensively but defensively as well. I mean, 31, 5, and 6, 2 steals, leading the league, and a block as well. Like, is ridiculous. The efficiency as well has been on another planet. All the like the numbers, like the advanced stat numbers and stuff, go really well with him too. The Thunder are winning games, and it's honestly, if the Thunder finishes number one seed in the West, I feel like he can get that award, which is insane to think about SGA winning an MVP. But like right now, it's not really ridiculous, you know, with the way he's just put his team on his back. They also have a great team overall, but Shea's just been the leader of that. The way he's kind of improved himself from always having potential, kind of being underrated, to throwing himself automatically into like an All NBA first team type player for the last 2 seasons now has been ridiculous. And of course, add on the team success, he's got what, 43 30-point games, which is the most in the NBA right now. He's been ridiculous this season. So Shea, for me, I feel like if Shea does get an MVP award, you know, does win this MVP, that that changes a lot of things. But Shea winning MVP is like a realistic thing, which I didn't even think of coming into the season or even last season, that he will ever win an MVP. I feel like he'll be in the conversation, but winning MVP, that was crazy for a guy like Shea. It was really good, but he's got a realistic chance of winning, which is insane. And of course, Luka Doncic right now as well. Right now, he's number 3rd on the Basketball Reference tracker with 11.4%. He's in the hot conversation as well. He's got all the numbers to prove it. Obviously, it's his birthday today, as I'm recording. So shout out to Luka, leading the league at scoring, averaging 34, 9 and 9 with 1.5 steals, 49, 38, 78 splits. I mean, how do you not give respect to that? How do you not give an MVP to that? The only thing that, you know, takes Luka down compared to everyone else is the winning. Right now, he's the 8th seed, and usually when you're that low, you don't really win MVP. You know, unless you're like Russell, unless you do something absolutely historic that just can't be denied. And while Luka is having, I mean, again, 34, 9 and 9, a dang near 34-point triple double is insane. But of course, then you have Jokic doing crazy things, Shea doing crazy things, some other players doing really good as well. And yeah, Luka's the only thing that's against Luka is his winning, and his team isn't as good as Nikola Jokic and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. But Luka in himself obviously is an amazing MVP type player. We all say this, but he's gonna win an MVP eventually at some point. Is it this year? I don't really know. They had a tough loss last night to Cleveland. Shout out to Max Strus for an insane shot. He was on fire in that fourth quarter. But I mean, he eventually is gonna win some MVPs. If he does finish top in the conference, he's gonna win some MVPs. Thinking about this year though, like, I don't know. The way Luka has been balling, the way he's been playing, I feel like if they do, because the West also is really close. Like, it's not like he's fighting for a play-in spot. Well, it's not like they're just in the play-in. Like, a couple days ago, they were at a 6th spot. So, honestly, if they win, if they have a good end to the season, they finish, 5th in the West, he has a good conversation. Especially if he keeps doing what he's been doing, which he is, because it's Luka Doncic. I mean, last night he had, 48, 9, and 12 or something like that against Cleveland. He was just absolutely insane. And he's going to continue having games like that because it's Luka Doncic and no one can really stop him. But if he finishes top 5, if he finishes as the 5 seed in the West, I think he has a way better conversation than he finishes in the play-in. And he has a realistic chance of winning it, to me personally at least. You know, but Luka's always going to be in there. You also have Giannis, who I feel like is a guy that hasn't really been talked about a whole lot for the MVP race, but is a guy that has a decent conversation. Right now he has a 10.7% probability on Basketball Reference. He's been having an amazing season. Well, he's honestly maybe having his best season of his career. He's averaging almost 31 points per game, 11 rebounds, a career-high 6 assists, 1 steal, and a block, shooting a career-high 61% from the field. He has been ridiculous as well. Even though the Bucks have had a lot of other stuff going on, obviously, with Dame and the coaching changes and not looking like the contending crazy team that they, everyone thought they're going to be, he has still been absolutely ridiculous in keeping this Bucks team, kind of at the top of the West. I mean, the East. And they are. I mean, they're 3rd seed. They're only, a game and a half behind Cleveland for the number 2 spot. And if he continues to have this great season, Giannis has a really good conversation in his own right, to me personally. Even though he hasn't been talked about as much as Jokic or Shea, Luka, and some other guys, Giannis is in there. You know what I mean? Giannis is in that conversation. If they do finish as a top seed, as the number 2 seed maybe in the Eastern Conference, and Giannis continues to average 31, 10, and 6, or what? Right now it's 31, 11, 30, 11, 6, a steal and a block on 61% shooting. That's ridiculous as well. And then I think that's the top four. And then you have some other guys in there. Jason Tatum, he's been talked about a lot, especially recently, of being in the MVP conversation. Right now he has a 4% probability on Basketball Reference, which I feel like is a little bit low. But Tatum, his MVP case is very interesting compared to all the other guys, obviously. He doesn't have the statistics as Jokic, as other guys do. He's averaging 27, 8, and 5 with a steal, which is still really good. Shooting career high from the field, 47%, 36% from 3, 82% from the free throw line. Career high in assists. He's still very, very good. Still one of the best players in the league. He just doesn't statistically match up to guys like Luka, Shea, Giannis, Jokic, and them. But the thing he has over them is that he's on the best team in the league. They're going to be the best team in the league, probably by a little bit of a margin as well. Right now they're 46-12, so they're gonna probably be a 60-something win team. And usually we award the best player of the best team. Usually is in the MVP conversation. If not winning, he's very in there. But Tatum isn't in there, and the reason for that also is that how do I say this? His team is really good, where he can. I don't know. I want to say he can have nights where he takes it off, but he kind of can't as well because he's very valuable, and he rarely has nights where he's not good, obviously. But he doesn't need to be as on it and as elite as Luka does, as Shea does, as Jokic does, which honestly, it's kind of unfair that we're taking down Tatum in the MVP race because his team is good. That's the reason. Is that his team is too good, that he can't win MVP. That's the thing. That's the reason, which is a crazy reason, and you should be awarded for having a good team and for winning games, obviously. But the only reason that Tatum won't win, probably is not likely to win MVP, is because his team is too good. Because he has Jaylen Brown, another 20-point scorer. Porzingis is another 20-point All-Star player. You have Jrue Holiday, Derek White. They have the best team. They have an amazing team around them. And so Tatum doesn't need to be as elite. Tatum doesn't need to average 30 on this team. Even though he could, but he doesn't because he also wants to win a championship at this point, which I respect Tatum for. Even I think Kristaps Porzingis said something about this the other day too. He was like, we were respected because he could go out and try to drop 35. He has all the talent in the world to go out there, drop 35, average 30-something points per game. Didn't he average? Last year he averaged 30 a game. He could do that, but he wants to win a championship. He wants to sacrifice for the team, which I respect a whole lot for him. And unfortunately, it's just the reason why he won't win an MVP this year. Now, he could win it eventually in the future. I feel like he probably could win. Before the season, I predicted him to win MVP. But I feel like he is a guy that could win an MVP eventually in the future. But right now, it's just not going to happen because, one, he hasn't been as elite as some of the other guys statistically wise, and a lot of other things. But Jason Tatum's still an amazing player. He should get a little bit more respect than what he's getting in the MVP race. Again, I don't think he's going to win it or maybe be in the top 3, but he deserves a lot more respect in the MVP race than what he's actually getting. Then maybe looking at some other guys around the league. Right now in the MVP tracker, the other guys in the top 10, Domantas Sabonis is 6th at a 3% chance. He's actually 20, 13, and 8, shooting 62% of the field. He's been absolutely ridiculous, man. Leading the league in he has 20 triple-doubles. Leading the league in double-doubles. He's had, 40 double-doubles in a row, I think, or something like that. Still insane that he hasn't made the All-Star team. He is absolutely ridiculous on a heater right now. But, of course, Sacramento, kind of similar to Dallas, where they're in the spot where they're around the 6-7 range. So, most likely, he's not going to be in the MVP. He's not going to win the MVP. Or even be in the top 5. But he's been solid. Donovan Mitchell is number 7 on the tracker with a 1.5% chance. He has a tiny bit of a case as well. Currently having probably the best season of his career, averaging 20 points, a career high in rebounds, career high in assists, career high in steals per game. He's averaging 28, 5, and 6 with almost 2 steals, shooting 47% from the field, 37% from 3, 86% from the free throw line. The Cavaliers are the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. They have a top 5 record in the NBA, and he has been vital to bringing this team up from being around the 6-7 spot, kind of being around average, to then they won 18 of their next 20 games without their second and third best player, Darius Garland and Evan Mobley, being out. And Donovan Mitchell carrying this, the bench of the Cavaliers to being the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference and being a top 5 record in the NBA. Donovan Mitchell has a really good case. Again, He's not going to win it. He's probably not even going to be in the top 5 maybe, but he has his own case in his own right of having, an MVP conversation, Then number 8 on the list is Tyrese Halliburton. He has a 1% chance. Currently averaging 21-3, leading the league with over 11.5 assists with a steal, shooting 49% from the field, 39% from 3, 84% from the free throw line. He's been ridiculous this season as well, especially early on in the year with the Pacers being really good. The Pacers right now, they're the 8th seed. Probably not going to win it. Maybe he's going to have some votes. He's going to be a guy that's going to get votes just because his game, the way he plays, the way he's been balling this season. And he's slowly starting to come back a little bit as well. He had the injury, and he kind of fell a little bit, but now he's slowly starting to come back, looks a little bit more well-rested. But unfortunately, he's not going to be high in the conversation. Number 9, they have Kristaps Porzingis as number 9 on the list with a 0.9% probability rate, which is this adds another reason as to why Jason Tatum probably isn't high in the MVP conversation. But I do think Kristaps Porzingis is honestly maybe the second most important player on the Celtics team if they want to win. But yeah, Porzingis averaging 27, 2 assists, almost 2 blocks, 52% from the field, 37% from 3, 85% from the free throw line. He's been amazing as well. He also hasn't played as many games as other people, so he's probably not going to make the requirement for 65 games. He's kind of on the borderline. Right now they have him in italics on this list, which means he's on pace to not play 65 games. So he's not going to be in it. And then right now, number 10 is Anthony Davis with another 0.9% probability. He's averaging 25, 12, 3, a steal, 2 blocks, 55% of the field. But the Lakers are going to be a play-in team, so obviously he's not. And then you have some other guys that aren't right now in the Basketball Reference top 10 that I feel like have some cases. Does Anthony Edwards have a legitimate case to be in the top 10? I think he does. Minnesota, they've been the number 1 seed, or if not number 1 or number 2 seed in the West the entire year. They have the second best record in the NBA. Anthony Edwards is averaging 26, 5, and 5 with a steal, shooting 46% from the field, 38% from 3, 83% from the free throw line. Again, the Minnesota Timberwolves have been really good. He's been on fire. He's been their best player, no doubt. They've been a really good team. Anthony Edwards should be in that top 10 in terms of the MVP tracker, personally for me. I'll put him over Anthony Davis, I'll put him over most of those guys after Tatum. I'll put him over AD. I put him over Porzingis. I put him over Tyrese Halliburton. I'll put him over Sabonis. I'll maybe even put him over Donovan Mitchell. Right now, for me, he probably would be maybe number 6 or number 7 for me personally in my MVP vote. He has been absolutely amazing. The Timberwolves deserve some credit for being consistently a top 3, top 4 team in the NBA. So I think Anthony Edwards deserves some respect. Kawhi Leonard, I feel like should get a little bit of conversation as well. The Clippers have been amazing as of recently. Kawhi, even though statistically not having his greatest season, he's still averaging 24, 6, and 3 with a steal and almost a block. Shooting 52% from the field, 44% from 3, 89% from the free throw line. Shooting the lights out efficiency is crazy. He's been playing games as well this season too, which is big. The Clippers are battling for that 1 spot right now. They're currently 4th in the West. But I feel like Kawhi, I would put Kawhi over a couple of the people. I'll put Kawhi in that MVP conversation over Anthony Davis, over Porzingis, over Tyrese Halliburton, over Sabonis. So he would probably be my 8 maybe, my 8. If the Clippers, I feel like were the 1 seed or number 2 seed, he would be a little bit higher, but he should be 8. He would be 8 for me. And then any other guy in the MVP conversation, Jalen Brunson. Does Jalen Brunson have a case to be in that top 10? He does, to me. The Knicks have been one of the hottest teams recently. They have fallen a little bit because of injuries, but Jalen Brunson's averaging 27, 3, and 6, a steal, 47% from the field, 40% from 3, 84% from the free throw line. Again, the Knicks have been one of the top teams in the East as recently, but of course their record isn't as great because they've lost a couple of their last games. But yeah, they've been great. Jalen Brunson maybe has a little bit of a case as well. And to be in the top 10, not to win it, but to be in the top 10. So right now, my top 10 probably an MVP would be in this order for right now. It would be Jokic, then Shea, then Luka, Giannis, Tatum at 5. Then you have Anthony Edwards, Donovan Mitchell, Kawhi, Jalen Brunson, Domantas Sabonis will be my top 10 right now. But of course, we still have a lot of time left. But this MVP race, I feel like is going to come down to it, man. This MVP race is going to be tough, especially that top 4. I feel like I feel like that's going to be the top 4. It's going to be Jokic, Shea, Luka, and Giannis. Of course, barring any injury, which hopefully doesn't happen, or barring maybe something crazy happening. I feel like that's going to be the top 4, and it's going to be a tough race. I mean, obviously, it's going to depend on record. Obviously, it's going to depend on how teams finish the season, all the stuff like that. But I think this MVP race is going to be something very, very interesting. It's going to be very tough for whoever has to vote for that MVP, man. It's going to be very, very tough. But yeah, it's going to be it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, enjoyed the content around here. Consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.